So apparently my microphone has decided to die on me. I hope that's not too big of a problem. I made a video in 2019 in which I explained the do's and don'ts of joining multi-animator projects. That video is a little bit outdated now, so I decided to make an updated version. I have hosted 30 maps over the years, and there are certain mistakes that I have seen people applying to maps make over and over again. These mistakes are what I'm going to be highlighting in this video. However, it's important to remember that I cannot speak for every map host out there, and something that I consider to be bad, another map host might be neutral about, and vice versa. First, I feel like I should explain some basics about maps, like what a map is and what different kinds of maps there are. If you know the basics already, then you can skip the timestamp on screen. MAP stands for Multi-Animator Project, a project that multiple animators collaborate to make. The terms animator collab and MAP project, MA project basically mean the same thing. You might see other terms floating around as well, such as MEP, which does not mean member of the European Parliament. In this context, it stands for Multi-Editor Project. This type of project focuses on video editing rather than animation, so I won't focus on that here. In a nutshell, the way maps work is that first a map host comes up with an idea and takes on organizing it. Then they publish a map call. The call is almost always in video format, and while YouTube tends to be the place to publish them, other platforms such as Twitter are sometimes used, especially for reanimated projects, which I'll explain in a little bit. Usually the project is chopped up into parts. Each participant will take one or more parts, and then it is up to them to finish that portion of the project. Once the call is up, anyone can ask to take part. Traditionally, this would be done in the comment section, but nowadays in all of my map calls and in many other people's map calls as well, we ask to submit a Google form instead. Reading the video description will let you know what you need to do exactly. At this point, the map host can choose who they give parts to and who they don't. If you get a part, the map host will try to contact you. If you do not get a part, then likely you're just not going to hear anything from the map host. It is not customary to inform every participant who didn't get a part that they didn't get a part. It is also possible to ask to be a backup participant. The backups are hugely important as they are used to replace any participant that has to drop out of the map or is kicked out due to, for example, not meeting deadlines. Now that you have a part, the time has come to make the part. Once you're done making the part, you need to inform the map host that you're done, and often the host will ask you to provide a download link to your part, such as a Google Drive link or a SendSpace link. Although sometimes a YouTube link or a Discord link will do just fine. If you're sending a Google Drive link, then make sure that it has the anybody with a link can view option selected. Once all the parts are done, the map host or a separate editor puts all the parts together, after which the finished project will be uploaded. Yay! Simple, right? Time to complicate things. There are different types of maps, such as the PMV map, in which PMV stands for Picture Music Video. In a map like this, you're actually not expected to animate at all. I'll have some examples of PMV map parts up on the screen to demonstrate. There are also limited animation maps, in which you usually don't animate much frame by frame, but you still edit your drawings in a way that it's more similar to animation than PMV. How much direction participants are given also depends on the type of map. An anything map will allow you to animate whatever you want, though there's usually at least some guidelines on what you're not allowed to do, such as heavy gore or not safe for work art. An OC map is a map in which you animate your original characters that you yourself have made. Sometimes maps can be about a specific work, such as a Warriors map, in which you're expected to draw warrior cat characters and do nothing else. A scripted map is a map in which you're meant to follow a script. So in this case, you're not allowed to draw just whatever you want for your part, but rather animate whatever the host has outlined to happen in your part specifically. A storyboarded map is a map in which someone, usually the host, has drawn a storyboard you need to follow. There might be other guidelines, such as in a palette map, you're only meant to use a certain set of colors. In a silhouette map, you're only meant to draw in silhouettes. In a reanimated map, you're meant to reanimate an existing piece of media. A map might have set character designs. I could go on and on and on about different types of maps, but at the end of the day, all you need to do is pay attention to what the map is titled as, and usually you'll be able to find an explanation somewhere. It also doesn't hurt to ask if you're not sure. Alright, now that we're done with the introduction, let's get into the actual do's and don'ts of joining maps. Here's some tips for what you should do when applying to maps. This is based on my personal experience, but as I mentioned before, it's good to remember that different map hosts might have different preferences. Have some animation examples. First of all, it is usually good to have some animation examples on your channel as you apply to a map. If you're applying to a Google form, you will likely be asked to link some examples there. And in that case, they don't necessarily need to be on your channel. But the point stands that if you're applying to almost any map, the map host is going to want proof that you're actually able to animate. It would also be good if your animation examples were finished works instead of simple sketches or work in progresses. I think the most common problem with the animation examples I get sent when people apply into my maps is that most of them tend to have no backgrounds. So then I can't let the person in the map because I'm not sure they can draw a background. If you don't have any animation examples yet, you could try making, for example, an animation meme before applying to any maps. Ask for multiple parts. If you really want to get into a map, then it is in your best interest to give the map host multiple parts that you would be willing to do. Let's say that you only ask for part 16, and then someone who has been animating for much longer than you have also asks for part 16. In this case, you're not going to be getting the part. As a map host, it's always kind of sad to see that happen because you'll just know that the person applying would have gotten a part if they asked for literally any other one. To improve your chances at getting a part, you can give the host some options, like asking for part 16 or part 13. Or if you really want to get in, just ask for any part. It also makes my job a lot easier. Read the rules carefully before asking for a part. The reason that this is so important is because a lot of the time the rules are going to have really important information that you definitely don't want to miss. There has been cases where I write down in the rules that the map part needs to be completed within, for example, a month, and once I'm done assigning the parts, one of the new participants immediately contacts me and tells me that they can't do the part after all because they didn't read the rules and they didn't realize that there was a deadline and they don't have time to finish the part in that time. So then I have to find a new participant and it's embarrassing for all parties involved. There might be other really important details in the rules as well, such as that you need to have a Discord account, which you can't have if you're under 13 years old, or that the map host is going to be monetizing the finished project and that by joining the map you're consenting to that. Or maybe the rules tell you to use a specific color palette. You don't really want to end up making a part that can't even be used in the finished project because it breaks some really important rule. So really do make sure to read the rules. Maintain contact with the map host. After getting a part, you might be asked to join a Discord server, and for some maps this is compulsory. This is because Discord is just a really good platform for the map host and the participants to keep in contact. But even if the map doesn't have a Discord, or if you don't join one, it is important to let the map host know that you're working on completing your part. You can do this by sending the host work in progress videos of your part. Personally, I have never seen any participants send too many of these, so send them as frequently as you want. It's very calming for map hosts to know that the participants are working on the project. Giving the host a way to quickly contact you through, for example, Discord and/or sending them frequent work in progresses greatly reduces your chances of getting kicked out of the map if you, for example, miss a deadline by accident. Sending whips is also good because if you start making some sort of mistake, like let's say that you've misunderstood the map script, the map host will be able to tell you to correct the mistake before you've already poured hours and hours of work into something that you won't be able to use. If you're joining a scripted map, read the full script. This one wasn't in the old video, but I feel the need to add it here. Now you might be thinking, why would I need to read the full script? Can't I just read my portion of the script? So sometimes your portion of the script might need context from the other parts. Let's say that your portion of the script says that the cat yawns. Simple enough. You animate a cat yawning, but unbeknownst to you, at a previous point in the script it was said that the cat climbs into a tree, and this is still the same scene. If you just animate a cat yawning on the ground, which is where cats normally exist, then imagine that in every other part the cat is in the tree, and then in your part the cat is suddenly back on the ground again. This is a very simplified example, and even I make this mistake from time to time. In the case of this example, the map host would probably tell you to change it. But beyond that, I recommend reading the entire script to figure out the tone of the map so that you're not going to just start drawing something haha funny in the middle of a very serious project, and just so that you understand what exactly is the purpose of your scene. What does it contribute to the map? Is the cat yawning meant to show that the cat is bored, or is it meant to show that the cat is happy and content and about to fall asleep in the next part? Try to make it so that your part integrates into the rest of the map. And in the same vein, remember that in a scripted map it is more important for your part to convey the scene than to look super cool. Do not sacrifice clarity for visuals. And finally, if you don't get into the map, then try joining another one. Don't give up just because you didn't get into a map. Practice makes perfect, etc. And not every map is going to be as strict as the one you just tried to join. There are many maps there that would probably gladly have your part. If you have difficulties getting into any maps at all, then try joining some beginner-friendly maps. Just don't feel too discouraged. In fact, just to demonstrate that there are numerous open maps out there, for this video and this video only, I'll give any map host a permission to advertise their open maps in the comment section. Just do not link them, since a link is going to get your comment auto-filtered on YouTube. Let's move on to the things that you shouldn't do when joining a map. Ask for a part repeatedly. It's not lottery. You're not increasing your chances by asking for a part multiple times. You're just being annoying. Ask for a part in the comment section when you're meant to ask in a Google form. Rookie mistake. Refer back to the read the rules section. The video description or rules document will tell you what is the proper way to apply. Rush. If the map is not first come, first serve, which they usually aren't, then it doesn't matter if you were the first person asking for the part or the 200th. If you try to ask for a part as fast as humanly possible, there's a good chance that you forego reading the rules, ask for a part in the wrong place, etc. So it really is better to think carefully before applying. Whine instead of asking for a part. I'm talking about comments like, I would ask for a part, but my art is bad and I would never get in anyways. How do you know if you don't even ask? I've had situations before in which someone asks for a part, ends up getting the part, and then when I try to contact them, their comment has disappeared. And when I go searching for them, I found out that they deleted their comment themselves because they thought that they wouldn't get a part anyways. But they did. And they would have lost the part instantly if I didn't decide to go out of my way to look for them. Seriously, just if you want a part, ask for a part. It doesn't hurt. The map host isn't going to be like judging you for daring to ask to do free work for their project. It's fine. Just ask for a part. Start working on the part before it's actually given to you. I will say that this has never been a huge problem with any of my maps. If someone did this, then I would just ignore. But in the old video, I got a lot of comments from other map hosts saying that they felt super awkward whenever someone whom they hadn't even given the part to just went ahead and completed it anyways. I did this once when I was just beginning to join maps, and I think people do this because they misunderstand how maps work, which is why I had the basics section at the start. But yeah, do not start to make your map part before you have actually gotten confirmation from the map host that you have been given one. Applying to a map is not a guarantee that you'll get a part. Take too many parts. If you already have several other map parts, then just finish those ones first before applying to a new project. This is for the sake of you, as well as the maps you're joining. When you have multiple map parts, it is much easier to forget about one of them or to miss a deadline by accident, or even if you do end up finishing all your parts on time, you're making the map hosts wait for longer than necessary. Let's say that it takes you 2 weeks to finish a map part. That's how long it takes for me. If you join a map and you aren't currently working on any other map parts, then the host will only have to wait for your part for 2 weeks. If you are in another map, then the host will have to wait for 4 weeks, which is double the time. If you are in, let's say, 10 maps before joining the new one, now the waiting time is 22 weeks. Or let's say that your computer explodes. Now you're going to have to drop out of 11 maps. That sucks. It's far worse than having to drop out of just one. Save your own nerves as well as the map hosts today. Don't join too many maps at once. I personally do not take more than 2 parts at a time. Cut contact with the map host. Let's say that something happens and you can't finish the part, or that you lose motivation. In this case, the responsible thing to do is to drop out of the map as soon as you can. This way the host can replace you with a different participant and the map can move on. Don't just disappear. I have sometimes had this happen where I go check on a participant after they miss a deadline and find that they have just left the Discord server. Alright, I don't know when they left, I don't have any other way of contacting them, so I can only assume that at some point they decided to not finish their part and didn't tell me, and I don't know how long it's been, I don't know how much time has been wasted. This is the bane of my existence. There is no obligation for you to finish a map part. But you need to remember that the other participants and the map host are probably also doing this for free, and you are giving them more work by doing things like these. We're all adults here, or well, likely we aren't, but let's pretend that we are for a moment. It's good to communicate to others if you can't finish something that you agreed to. Like, no one is holding you at gunpoint to finish the part or anything. You can leave! Just tell me first, please! But also preferably, like, do not join a map if you feel like you can't finish the part in time. Throw a tantrum if you don't get a part or if you get kicked from the map. This has not been super common with my maps anymore, but it used to happen back in the day, so let's go over it again. If you don't get a part, it's not a personal attack against you, and you don't need to go on a rampage, for example, like harassing the participants or the host. It's fine, you'll be fine. Doing things like that though is a surefire way to get you blocked, and then you can't join the person's maps anymore. It might also get you a bad reputation, which will possibly prevent you from joining other people's maps as well. Another thing is that if you get kicked from a map for example, missing deadlines or not following the rules, I understand that it can feel bad since you might have already put a lot of work into the project, but again, let's not get salty here. This has scarcely ever happened with my maps, but there has been some cases in the animation community that someone gets kicked from a project for some reason, and then the person goes full conspiracy theorist mode and why the map host is secretly evil, etc. and like, just join a different project and meet the deadline next time. Alright, that's all for this video. I also plan to make an updated version of the do's and don'ts of hosting maps video in the future, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. Also, please go watch my latest completed Multi-Animator project. I promise it's very cool. This one's a multi-fandom map, so that means that every part is for a different fandom. Does it have a part for your favorite fandom? Go find out! Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!